Do you think you have tried everything for your dry eye? Have you ever been told that dry eye has nothing to do with your lifestyle? Hello, I am Clara Gómez, and I am a therapist specializing in the integrative approach to dry eye. In this video, I am going to share 8 tips to improve your dry eye in an integrative way. First, we will talk about nutrition. Following an anti-inflammatory diet is especially important, as a pro-inflammatory diet is behind the development of many diseases, and dry eye is no exception. It is important to keep in mind that when implementing a therapeutic approach that includes diet, each case should be individualized by a professional. However, in this video, I am going to give you a few tips that can be beneficial for everyone. First of all, obviously, eliminate alcohol and ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods contain a huge amount of trans fats, refined flours, and added sugars, and they will not benefit us at all. Of course, we should also eliminate refined flours and added sugars through other means. Please, when we say to eliminate sugars, we mean to eliminate sugars and get the palate used to natural flavors. Do not replace them with sweeteners, as these can affect our gut microbiota. Another measure we could implement is to prioritize goat and sheep dairy over cow dairy, as these contain a type of casein that can be pro-inflammatory for us. However, goat and sheep dairy have a casein that is much more similar to that of breast milk and will not cause us those problems. Now that we have briefly discussed the foods we should exclude from our diet, let's talk about the foods we should include to benefit ourselves. First of all, we should increase our intake of antioxidants. We could include in our diet fruits with bright colors such as blueberries, acai, maki, and raspberries. Of course, it is also important to increase the amount of vegetables to provide all the micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals that we need. On the other hand, a good piece of advice would be to pay attention to the source of the meat, prioritizing grass-fed meat, which has a much more beneficial omega-6 to omega-3 ratio for us. In case this is not possible, if we are in Spain, we should choose meats that come from the north of Spain, such as Asturias or Galicia, areas with ample pasture space, as it will be much more expensive to keep those animals housed than to have them grazing in the field. We can use the strategy of buying lean meat instead of cuts that are very fatty and removing the skin from poultry. Speaking of the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, we should increase the consumption of blue fish and decrease foods that contain a lot of omega-6, such as vegetable oils or margarines. It is important to keep in mind that the intake of omega-3 will be very beneficial if we manage to maintain a proper omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. In other words, if we, for example, supplement with a lot of omega-3 but our diet is pro-inflammatory, unfortunately, it will not be enough to improve our dry eye. On the other hand, we should also increase the intake of healthy fats such as avocado, olive oil, coconut, and ghee. 2. The second tip is to engage in strength training. We all know that muscle is anti-inflammatory and that muscle is basically equal to health. However, this goes a little further, as androgens protect us against the development of dry eye. In fact, that is the reason why there is a higher prevalence of women with dry eye compared to men. This is also the reason why anti-androgen contraceptive pills, which are the typical ones that help reduce acne, may be behind the cause of many dry eyes. Well, muscle mass correlates positively with serum androgen levels, meaning that more muscle mass leads to higher androgen levels, thus benefiting us from their protective effect, in addition to their anti-inflammatory capacity and their role in helping to regulate our metabolism. The third piece of advice I can give you is to reduce your exposure to environmental toxins and endocrine disruptors. The most obvious way to explain this recommendation is that one of the main functions of tears is cleaning. When a person with healthy tears is exposed to a contaminated environment with smoke or air fresheners, it will immediately induce a slight tearing that will clean the ocular surface and quickly eliminate the irritating agent. However, a person with dry eye has this cleaning function altered. Therefore, when exposed to an adverse environment, their tear will take much longer to eliminate it. This translates to longer contact time of irritating substances on the ocular surface and greater damage caused. These irritating substances can be found in bleach, ammonia, and cleaning products. Then we can find them in air fresheners and commercial perfumes, so it would be a good idea to remove them and replace them with much less harmful alternatives, such as cleaning with vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, citric acid, or perfumes based on essential oils. On the other hand, we have the presence and exposure to endocrine disruptors that can alter our hormonal function, which is closely related to the development of dry eye. Some endocrine disruptors like BPA have a pro-estrogenic effect, while others like phthalates alter the functioning of our thyroid, disrupting our hormonal function. Some advice I can give you is to replace plastic utensils in the kitchen with glass utensils, and of course to remove those commercial perfumes that may have harmful hidden ingredients behind the word fragrance. The fourth tip is to be very careful with what you put on your skin, especially with what you apply near your little eye. In line with the previous point, we should consider the composition of our cosmetics, makeup, and creams that we apply daily to our skin, which may contain substances that are not very positive for us. Additionally, some ingredients such as retinol in eye creams can interfere and be one of the causes of dry eye by altering the function of the meibomian glands. The fifth piece of advice I can give you is to manage stress. Well, things are getting heated here. Stress equals inflammation, and dry eye equals an inflammatory underlying condition. Let's just say the joke tells itself. Furthermore, this is the fish that bites its own tail. Since your dry eye causes you stress, that stress will further inflame your ocular surface, and that inflammation will make you even more stressed. It is essential to achieve good stress management and reduce those tensions. It's about time to put that lion that chases us into its cage. So mindfulness, psychological therapy, spirituality, doing a bridge pose, whatever works best for you, but don't stop looking for ways to manage your stress because it will be super beneficial for your eye health. Consider that many illnesses are the way our body tells us to make a change in our lives, so it is about time we listen to it. In sixth place, I want to tell you that it is very important to regulate our circadian rhythms, as they are the internal clock of our body and will regulate almost all the functions of our body, including the production of tears, even if it does not do so in a strictly direct way. Some advice I can give you is to get up in the morning and expose ourselves to daylight, maintain social relationships, engage in physical exercise, avoid screens and electronic devices at night, as well as have warm lights in the areas of the house where we will be at night. Go to bed early, around 10:30 or 11, and avoid heavy meals at night. In seventh place, we have environmental measures. At this point, you will see a much stronger cause and effect correlation than in the others. It would be important to maintain an environmental humidity of around 50%. We should avoid exceeding humidity levels of 60%, as this could increase the proliferation of fungi, which not only significantly affects our respiratory system, but also disrupts our immune system, and that is not beneficial at all for improving our dry eye. The higher the environmental humidity of the place we are in, the lower the evaporation of our tears, and therefore our symptoms will be less severe. It is also very important to control the ambient temperature of the place we are in. A temperature around 19 to 22 degrees Celsius would be ideal to prevent the evaporation of our tears. We can understand this by imagining what would happen to a glass of water in a dry place with low humidity. It would evaporate, right? Well, basically the same thing happens to your tear. Ventilation is also super important. In fact, I don't even want to explain this to you. I want you to experience it for yourselves the next time you start to feel your eyes a bit strained and the environment a bit heavier than usual. I also want you to make sure that the first thing you do before putting in eye drops is to open the windows of the house and let the air flow. Obviously, if you are living above a highway, it might not be the best idea because it could also worsen those symptoms. However, try it and let me know in the comments. Air conditioners will also affect our little eyes a lot. Heating dries out the environment, and air conditioning, in addition to also drying out the environment due to the airflow it creates around screens, is known to be another conditioning factor of our symptoms. This is because we decrease the frequency of our blinking, therefore we should take breaks every 20 minutes and make an effort to blink. We can rest and do strong blinks to squeeze those meibomian glands and release a bit more oil, in addition to keeping the screen at a position below our line of sight. Tip number 8 is actually 2. First, choose the right artificial tears, suitable for your type of dry eye, because not all are the same. Finally, the best recommendation I can make is to seek the source. Don't just focus on the eye symptoms. Look beyond the eyes. Seek extraocular symptoms, dermatitis, constipation, or any other symptoms that might give you clues about the potential causes of dry eye. This concludes the first video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love for you to leave suggestions for future videos in the comments, and let me know if you found this helpful. Until next time.